Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today is March 28th, 2024, and accidentally ran across a video, doing a little research, and I ran across a video which gave me an opportunity, an excuse, I guess, to cover a guy who I've been meaning to cover for a while now. I haven't done a lot of research on the guy, but I know enough to know that he's a scam artist. And this Tom Bilyeu. Tom Bilyeu, my name is Mike Stathis. I say you're a scam artist. And pretty much a world authority on detecting frauds and scam artists. And so the video that reminded me to expose this guy, you're going to see here shortly. I'm not going to spoil the surprise. I want to first tell you why this guy's a scammer. So, for those of you out there who don't know, it's pretty obvious, it should be obvious to you, these guys that market themselves with their little show and they claim that they're successful and they're very wealthy, yet they're spending all their time making YouTube videos and doing interviews and going on other interviews, and and they're in the whole circle with similar scammers, by the way. And did I mention that they're also, a lot of them they claim they're retired. Right. Let me just point something out, a fact. Well-off, successful people who provide value or who have done so before they retired aren't on YouTube peddling dog shit. Okay? Now, this is another one of these scam artists, fraudster morons who got his little start from the king of gatekeepers, the modern day king of gatekeepers who took over after Alex Jones had his great fall, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is one of the world's biggest gatekeepers. He's a complete moron, and if you waste your time listening to what this chump says, then you're just a fucking idiot. I'm not going to get into Joe Rogan at this point. I will perhaps at some point. There's a lot of material to go over with Rogan because he has changed course over the years in terms of his whole strategy, what he's doing, who he interviews, the topics, so on and so forth. But just generally, I'll just give you a kind of a general rendition, and that is, and you can look into it yourself. And I don't even really, I have spent very little time looking at Rogan. It's just so obvious. It's just plain as day to me. So I've spent probably a total of maybe 2 hours looking at anything that he's ever done. And this is over the course of probably a decade. Rogan, he began as catering to the deep fringe crowd, the kind of the Alex Jones crowd and all the nonsense, the mentally ill people believing in flat earth and fake moon landing and all this garbage. And so once he got a following, and this kind of coincided with the decline of Alex Jones. Once he got a following, and I believe, by the way, he was chosen as the next disinfo gatekeeper, in line after Alex Jones. Of course, Alex Jones is kind of pretty much off the rails now completely for that purpose. He's hit a new level of fringe. But Joe Rogan, and of course Alex Jones, by the way, and I haven't really talked about this too much. Alex Jones, it's obvious to me, was being positioned by the establishment. That's right, he was being positioned to be more of a mainstream gatekeeper. And that's why you start to see Alex Jones get all these big-time major network interviews, right? Did anybody notice that? And it's because they wanted to get him more mainstream. And I'm not going to get into too much of this because I'm already distracting, getting off the on a sidetrack here. But basically, it's all about luring in the masses so that you can fool them. You can direct them to your version of the truth, the narratives that the establishment wants. And in the case of Jones, most of his comments, his statements, his ideas, his conspiracies are so ridiculous and outlandish, or have a ridiculous and outlandish component to them, that the sane, intelligent, rational people out there are, instead of listening to Jones, they're going to listen to the establishment. That's part of the control mechanism. That's how it works these days, folks, in case you didn't know that. They only promote extremists out there. So that there's basically kind of two versions. There's the establishment version and there's the extremist version. However many extremists there are out there. They don't give you kind of, middle ground, which is what most of this really represents. There is some truth on either side. But if you're deviating from the full truth, you're talking about, in almost all cases, complete fabrications. So that's Alex Jones's role. Joe Rogan serving that role now. And Joe Rogan, of course, what he tries to do now is have all these so-called intellectuals on to make him seem like a legitimate person. But the fact is that Joe Rogan is a poorly educated, let's call him uneducated, airhead, complete moron, and he's of the tribe. Rogan, he's of the tribe, and that's why he's been promoted. You can go through his past. He knows these media guys. And he's a talentless loser who now has been positioned to influence a lot of people out there with his disinformation. And you'll notice, of course, Joe Rogan happens to live in the same city as Alex Jones. He moved there, Austin, Texas. And you'll notice also Elon Musk is in Austin, Texas. They're all the big circle jerk, by the way. I've talked about this before. I haven't dedicated a segment on it. Hopefully I will in the future. This big circle jerk, which is growing by the day, it seems. Elon Musk, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, this Lex Friedman, Patrick Bet-David is now involved in that. And it's all disinformation, various forms of chicanery, and it's really disgusting. So let's get back to Tom Bilyeu, or however you say his name. Now, of course, he's in the tribe as well. He's in that tribe. The tribe you can't mention. Can't talk about this ethnocentric religious tribe. You can't talk about it. You look at Joe Rogan, and this is just a guess. Don't hold me to it. But based upon what I've seen vaguely, it would appear that 80 to 90% of the people he features are of the same tribe as him. And this is the ongoing thing that you see. These guys all stick together, okay? They stick together, and it's them against everybody else. That's kind of how they wage things. And so let's take a look here before we move on. And you can see, now, I don't know many of these people. I think this guy is this, I'm not sure, I forgot his name, Weinstein, I'm not sure, but you should assume that, I would say 95% of the people here you're going to see are scam artists, disinformation artists, con artists. You should assume that because these guys, once again, they interview the same people. They hang in the same circles. And if you look at several of these people, by the way, and I've talked about this for years upon years, if you take any one individual, you just don't know, because they could be kind of lower on the food chain, newer on this whole publicity sidekick of getting in that whole inner circle. So what you want to do is you want to look at a few of them. So here's one, right? Jordan Peterson, an obvious fraud. This guy is a pro-globalist, anti-white, pro-Zionist. He's in the tribe, by the way. He's a complete disinformation, scam artist, liberal, pro-Marxist scumbag. He's fooled a lot of stupid people. So, if you take a look, let's say this guy, I don't know who he is, Peterson, and there you go, Patrick Bet-David, another fucking scam artist, a low IQ thug scam artist, PHP, multi-level marketing scammer. And he's now in the genre of doing conferences, and he's an expert and doing all. I mean, this guy is a complete scammer. It's just amazing to me. But anyway, and I'll feature more on this guy in the future. I've already talked about him before. So what you do is you take, you take a look at a few of them, and then you look closely at them, and you see who are they interviewing. So you can go to Patrick Bet-David's channel, and you can see who he's interviewing, right? And see what else is going on. They have conferences, all this. Folks, you keep doing this, and you're going to see a huge circle, a big circle jerk. They're all in the same matrix, okay? That's how you identify all the scam artists. Okay. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that each and every one of these guys is a scammer. I would say 90%, 95%, my guess, without even looking at them. But we've already seen some here. I'm pretty sure this guy is. I recognize the face. Patrick Bet-David, obviously. Jordan Peterson, and then we got everyone's favorite hyperinflation, gold pumping con, Peter Schiff, and then you got Raoul Pal. This guy is a complete scam artist and liar. And so let me go ahead and give you the spoiler here. This is the video we're going to be talking about today. But let me just go through and take a look at some of these people. And so what this guy is trying to do, Tom Bilyeu, is, he's trying to have these people on that pose as intellectuals because he wants to make himself like he's legitimate. But the problem is he tosses in, and I don't know who these people are, but I my guess, kind of looking at them, is they're fake intellectuals and they're fake gurus or experts in their field. I would say most of them. I'm not going to say all of them because I don't know. And here we go. This Hormozi guy, absolute scam artist. And it's just amazing. If you look at this guy, he was nowhere to be found. All of a sudden, he's in all these mixes, all these little groups. Folks, let me explain to you. And I'm researching this, and I'm finding more and more. And I'm pretty confident that I understand what's going on, being on the outside. And some of you who are listening to this might even know exactly what's going on. You may have been involved. You may have seen it firsthand from the inside, and you got disgusted and you departed. If so, contact us and let us know the details. And what I'm about to talk about here briefly before I move on is it appears that, based upon some kind of superficial research that I found, that there's like these networks of promotional people. I don't know where they exist. I don't know how you get into them, but people like this Hormozi guy, they're all in this big circle jerk. And I know Patrick Bet-David's involved as well. It's pretty obvious when you got these guys who are complete chump morons who make all these ridiculous, outlandish claims, who appear from nowhere, and they have all these followers, and they're on all these networks, and they've done nothing. They've done zero, except make a bunch of baseless claims. And, this Hormozi guy, this is one of the best examples of that. So you might want to look into that. Once again, there's something going on with people pushing each other, and these fake gurus, they're all in this inner circuit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of this. It just came to mind. I remember I came across it maybe about a few days ago, and it reminded me because there was this con man, complete scam artist who is one of the more prominent bullshit scam artists on ScamTube. I don't know, say about 7-8 years ago, and his name is Alex Becker. You can look at his bullshit. This guy, I think most people know he's a scam artist. The problem is, of course, there's a lot of stupid people on, and you can see he's jumped into the crypto thing. So if you've got a lot of viewers, you jump into the crypto thing, you're gonna double, triple your viewers, and it doesn't matter how much of a scammer you are. You've got so many stupid, desperate people involved in the whole crypto scam that they're going to listen to this guy. And this guy was doing, I can't remember what he was doing before, but just the typical bullshit. Complete scam artist, just make shit up. And I hadn't even thought of the guy in years. So let me just kind of show you what I'm talking about with this guy, because apparently now he's got his new gimmick, and it's a company called Hyros. And if you look into this, actually, he kind of changed the name. Apparently it was something else before. People called it a scam. And he's doing it again. I guess he's changing it. And it's called, and of course, these scammers, AI, right? Oh, AI. All of a sudden, like, they've got AI going on. Wait a second, dude. Microsoft and Google, they're like still working on their AI like products. Like, how do you have yours going up and ready to go? I mean, you understand? I mean, they're obvious scammers. That's a telltale sign. Whenever you get something like a big trend like AI, all of a sudden the scammers, they got it going on, and they're gonna, oh, we're AI powered, right? So this is some type of an ad tracker or something like that, and based upon what I can tell, it's a complete scam, because this is basically the same product as he was selling before several years ago. And take a look here. This is what I'm talking about with this network. Oh, look, Tony Robbins. And once again, folks, most of these people on YouTube, and I'm telling you, they're all scammers. If you're monetizing on YouTube, whether you realize it or not, I don't care if you think you're just a innocent little travel vlogger, and if you are monetizing and you're posting affiliate links, you're a scammer. You're a scumbag. You're an enemy of the people. You're doing business with fucking criminals. You're in a partnership with scam artists because you are posting scam ads. That's what 95% of the ads on YouTube are now. They're scam ads by scammers. Anyone out there on YouTube, if you have a channel and you're monetizing your channel, you are forming a partnership with scammers. You're in business with scammers. That makes you a scammer. You're profiting off of promoting scammers. That's what you're doing with your content. And you all know, the ads are scams, right? So, I want to make that point clear. But notice he's got Tony Robbins there. And keep in mind, many of these people, many of these scammers on YouTube, and they're all over the place. So they're all types of genres. Well, you name it. Folks, their mentor's Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, many of these other scam artists out there. This is the problem. And guys like Alex Becker, there's several more you can tell. They're into this kind of, smoke and mirrors bullshit. I can help your life and improve your success, and, kind of life coaching fucking garbage. Okay? That exploits people who are mentally vulnerable, mentally ill, emotionally vulnerable, who actually should go to, maybe seek some professional mental assistance. But take a look. He's got Tony Robbins here, who now, and say, well, Tony Robbins, wow, it's a big name. Yeah, because he's probably in Tony Robbins' affiliate network. Tony Robbins has got this huge group of people that he works with as affiliates to promote his bullshit, and it goes back and forth. Okay? So if I see Tony Robbins endorsing something, I smell scam. Tony Robbins is a complete scam artist. Tony Robbins, you hear that? You're a scammer, and you know that you're a scammer. You are a fucking fraud. Write that down. So take a look here. Here's his endorsements. Take a look at all these companies and take a look at the people behind them. This impact theory, this is this Tom Beaulieu guy. I don't know. I mean, guaranteed. Frank Kern, he's one of these con men that's associated with Tony Robbins. Jim Launch, this is this Hormozy guy with his false claims. Dean Graziosi, I mean, come on. Grant Cardone. Notice, this is like a who's list of fucking scam artists. Where's Robert Kiyosaki? Come on. Where is Robert Kiyosaki? He's got to be on this list, right? ClickFunnels, fucking scam tool. If you're using ClickFunnels, you're a scammer. Folks, if you see ClickFunnels, it's a scammer. Write that down, okay? So, who else do we have here? There we go. Grant Cardone. Scam artist. Hey, Grant, you're a scammer. That's right. My name's Mike Stathis. You're a scammer. I'm a pro detector of scammers. And I say, you're a fucking scammer. You make false claims. You're full of shit. I mean, folks, You're judged by the company you keep. Okay? You're judged by the company you keep. Birds of a feather flock together. That's all you need to know. See who else we got here. There we go. Mike Tyson. Here's this Tom guy. Interesting years, dude. Oh, Patrick Bet-David, of course. I mean, how obvious is this that this is a scam? I mean, and this Frank Kern guy, Frank Kern, and you may want to check into Frank Kern. I think you might be able to find a video expose on him, or I think an audio actually on ScamTube by some guy who was, I think some guy was like an attorney who was investigating these scammers. He kind of did a couple things and he kind of went on his way. I think it's called The Syndicate, and it kind of reveals the tactics that Kern and Robbins and all these scammers. There's a whole very deep and old industry of these scammers. You know, Tony Robbins, Frank Kern, all these guys. It's let's in fact, let's see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. The Salty Droid, that was the guy, this investigative guy. It's too bad he went on his way. I mean, he's like, he exposed it probably, and not enough people like responded. He realized there's just a bunch of stupid people that watch ScamTube, and he just realized kind of, hey, it's a waste of my time. This was 13 years ago. So let's go ahead and listen to this. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video because it's fairly short and it's pretty important. This wasn't the one I wanted to show actually, but it's important because it talks about affiliate marketing. That whole business model, it's a scam. It's for shitty products. It's a scam. Write that down. At best, if you have an affiliate business model for a product, let's say for VPNs, it's pretty common. It's going to be overpaying. Okay, you're overpaying. You're getting ripped off as a customer because you're paying, and that built in that cost is affiliate link. And I'm not going to get into that debate. People say, well, that's they would have to spend for marketing. I'm not going to get into that debate. Just go ahead and write it down. The affiliate link, anybody that's selling affiliate links in any company has an affiliate link business model, you should stay away from, because they're going to have shitty product for what you pay for, and or they may even scam you. I've had that happen to me, by the way, with a VPN, NordVPN. They run an affiliate business model, and they scam me. So let's go ahead and listen now. And when you think about affiliate links, folks, I don't know if you all know this, but it's very scammy. It's very scammy. It's kind of the dark underworld. And of course, all these YouTube channels, they just post affiliate. Nobody says, well, what is this? Is this honest? Is this going to hurt myself? They don't care, folks. Everybody that has a channel that's monetizing, they're a bunch of money worshiping, greedy scumbag losers, disgusting losers. And you have shameless people that are selling little affiliate links. Kevin O'Leary. I mean, you have no fucking pride, you scumbag. This is not a little kid. I mean, it's not some little kid pitching affiliate links. You've got adults that have money doing it, but they can't get enough money. They want more and more and more. And that's why you have the problem that you have today with all these scammers out there. They'll stop at nothing to extract your last dime. Let's listen to this now.
My name's Michelle Blood, and I've lived in San Diego for a few years now.
By the way, Michelle Blood, notice the surname. And Frank Kern, notice the surname. Are they in the same tribe? You better believe it. Based upon the surname, yep.
I've got a new book out with Bob Proctor, and I've just done...
Bob Proctor is one of the godfathers of this whole life coaching con artistry industry, by the way. I don't know if he's still alive. Look into these guys. I haven't had a chance. Some of you are going to be fascinated. It's a fascinating topic to understand this. It's kind of like the dark web of scams. When you look into these guys, these snake oil salesmen, you'll see, you'll see where Tony Robbins got his mentoring from. He talks about it. What's the guy's name? I forgot the guy's name. But it's a whole kind of disgusting, sleazy, cringy industry of just predators.
Our whole system that used to be an infomercial on TV as a download, and I'm looking to go viral with it now. And especially with my co-author Bob Proctor now doing so well from The Secret, etc. So how do I find...
Oh, shit. Wait a second. I didn't even know this. Bob Proctor... Wait a second. He wasn't the author of The Secret, was he? Oh, my God. Wait a second. I have to check this. Hold on, folks. I have to check this. Okay, so I see. So he was I didn't know. So let me just go ahead and sorry, we're going off the rails here with the. We'll get back to Tom Bilyeu, but this is the problem, folks. When you talk about these guys, it can branch off into many different individuals and people, because this is a one huge clusterfuck, one huge circle jerk of scammers, and like this whole video is a syndicate. So Bob Proctor, and you can look into this guy, as I mentioned, one of the godfathers of this whole self-help bullshit scam industry. And apparently, so The Secret was a book, and I think it was James Arthur Ray. Pretty sure he was involved somehow. I don't know if he wrote it or he's involved, but this is the guy. Of course, his career was built on Oprah Winfrey featuring him. And he ended up being charged and was found guilty of, I think, 2 homicides. And so anyway, they made a movie about this. And The Secret's a bunch of bullshit, complete fucking garbage. And I got an article actually coming out on Robert Kiyosaki, complete fraudster, probably my most comprehensive article on him thus far. I've done a lot of articles and videos on him. This contains a lot of videos as well. And I point out that Oprah, and I've mentioned this many years ago, a few times, Oprah is kind of the queen pin of promoting, launching the careers or making them mainstream of scammers. Huge big-time scammers, from Tony Robbins to Robert Kiyosaki, Susie Orman, you name it, several people. And James Arthur Ray is one of them. But anyway, so apparently I didn't know, because I hadn't looked into the movie The Secret. Apparently Bob Proctor was involved. He had an involvement in that movie, which makes sense. This whole secret, and I haven't looked into the details of the book. I know the basic premise just because I many years ago, I did a little feature on James Arthur Ray, or a video. I can't recall what it was, but I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so. But apparently, it's from this whole self-help industry. Folks, self-help industry is similar to the nutritional supplements industry. It's a scam. It's a huge scam. The only difference is that at least the nutritional supplements industry is about 5% legitimate. 5% legitimate. Self-help is complete fraud. Now, you're going to have people say, oh, no, they help me and they help. It's called the placebo effect, the same thing that exists in the nutritional supplements industry, okay? It's a scam. A bunch of parasites, a bunch of fucking parasites who are skilled and fast-talking in the art of manipulation and NLP. That's what Tony Robbins does. That's what Frank Kern, all these guys, Bob Proctor, that's what they all do. They are fraudsters. They're scam artists.
Like really good affiliate partners when you don't know anything about that. Like really
So
good
she apparently she wrote some book, and she wants to know about how to get affiliate partners.
affiliate partners when you don't know anything about that yourself. And you've got a really good product to sell. We've sold about 800,000 actual physical products.
Right? So you're looking, there's the question, where do I get affiliates to promote my stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. It's easy. All right. You have to run your business like the mafia, but you shouldn't kill anybody unless they fuck with you. So here's the deal. I taught this in list control. Thank you to the people who have bought that, by the way. You've got to market All right? So whatever your market is like a community. You have competitors in that community. The thing to do is to go to those competitors and establish what I call a syndicate within your market. Syndicate is, I think, French for trade union, and that's why I made the mafia joke, because everyone thinks syndicate means mafia. It really means trade union. All right?
I want you to listen to this, folks, what he's already said, and listen to what he keeps talking about here, what's going on, this strategy, because this strategy is what these fraudsters, these scammers are doing on the ScamTube. And Big Circle Jerk, and it extends beyond ScamTube. I'm talking about the low-level, little chumpy kids, whatever they call themselves, consumer finance gurus, I don't know what they call themselves. But these guys like Meet Kevin, Graham Stephan, Tom Nash, that whole crew, and a bunch of them, they're all on a Big Circle Jerk. They formed a syndicate, you see. They're competing, but they're in a circle jerk. And this also includes this CoffeeZilla guy who's there as well. He's not exposing them. He's part of this whole fucking scam now. Now, let's continue to listen to his...
So you form a mastermind of peers. Identify the strongest people.
You hear that? Mastermind of peers. I wonder where this whole mastermind scam came about. You all may... Some of you who know me, I've exposed that the fact of mastermind, anybody that says, oh, mastermind, it's a scam. This whole mastermind trend has been going on now for quite a few years. This came out of the whole scam artistry industry. I knew this. It's pretty obvious just from the name alone. But take a look at this video. This is 13 years ago. Okay? This is 2010. Well before this whole mastermind thing came out. So guess where it came from? I don't know if it came from Mr. Kern, probably not, but it came from this whole dark, deep underworld, dark web of scametry, right? Scam artistry. That's where it came from, and I knew this already. It's pretty obvious. Anybody that's running a mastermind is a master scammer. Complete bullshit.
With the most reach that can help you, that are serving the same market. Then you hold a meeting for all of these people. Physically come, fly them to you. So when you're all together in the same room, you immediately form this bond and you form this camaraderie. And then you deliberately ask every person in your group what their promotion schedule is like for the year, and then you each work together on how to promote each other for maximum effectiveness. Let's be fucking honest here. Have you ever noticed that all the people in the internet marketing world are promoting each other? We're not psychic. All the top people.
There you go, folks. Wow. I don't know if I've seen this video before. I don't remember this video, but this is amazing because he's telling you right here what's going on. When I've been talking about the whole circle jerk, I've been talking about this whole effect for over a decade, actually. And I started noticing this when I was exposing the whole precious metal pumping syndicate, how they're all connected. Many of you who remember me exposing all this stuff many years ago, you'll recall I was talking about this. They're all interviewing each other, pretending like, people want to hear them. They're all at the same conferences. They're all, hat tip to this guy, they were mentioning each other, right? It's a syndicate. It was pretty obvious. And wow, he's explaining it right there. Folks, I'm telling you right now, you better learn to understand how to spot these con artists because they're everywhere. The internet has created a whole world of scam artists. And perhaps the best place to see that is YouTube. Unfortunately, the people, apparently, YouTube, you got, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of viewers, and they don't see it. They don't get it.
People work together to serve the market better and to help each other's business. It's based on the principle there's no such thing as my customer, right? So if they're buying your stuff, they're also buying Mind Movie stuff. They're also buying Tony stuff. They're also, to a degree, probably buying T. Harv Ekker's stuff. Maybe not James Ray as much anymore.
You hear that? James Arthur Ray? Because I guess this was, when he was already convicted of murder, basically. And you may want to look into that. So think about that. This is what I've been talking about for years. I wish I had come across this video before. This is what I've been experiencing for a long time, and you see it today as well. And this is exactly what I was referring to earlier when I showed you Alex Becker's bullshit site, and I showed you all those guys. Frank Kern was there, right? Patrick Bet David, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone. They're all working together. It's the same thing I told you about earlier with the circle jerk with Elon Musk and all these people. Folks, this is what's going on. Joe Rogan, I'm telling you right now, every single one of these people, you find one of these guys and take a look who they're interviewing, whose channels they're on, whose interviews are, and look at those guys. And you're going to see so many overlaps. These guys are forming syndicates to fuck you, to control your mind, to sell you their shit. This is what's going on. And it's been going on for quite a long time. Let's go ahead and...
I wasn't trying to hate, man. I'm just saying, it's a shame that whole thing happened. Whatever. It's a bummer. But you know what I mean? They're all buying each other's stuff. So you help them, as the Godfather would do, get what they want, and then you bring them all together, and then you all work together to get what you want. That's it. You're welcome. Let's be fucking honest here. Have you ever noticed that all the people in the internet marketing world are promoting each other? I mean, we're not psychic. All of the top people work together to serve the market better and to help each other's business. It's based on the principle there's no such thing as my customer.
Let's take a look at this video. This is the one I wanted to see. The one that I've seen before. I can't remember what it's about. It's 7 minutes. Wow.
Tony Robbins. He sells out stadiums around the world. He's helped over 50 million people and advised the world's most influential leaders. If you've ever wondered what his secret is to helping people,
Frank Kern. You've
got to form this type of syndicate.
This is Colin, by the way.
Hi.
Colin, you know Gilda, right?
Hi, Derek.
Derek.
Nice to meet you.
Amy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. I had someone walk up to me and say, I've been studying and following these internet marketing guys for a long time. And once I saw Tony got behind him, I knew it was real because I didn't know what to trust.
So keep in mind, folks, I'm telling you right now, all these people on ScamTube, on YouTube, all these internet marketing people and all this crap they're pitching, I'm telling you right now, they're patched into all this bullshit. They're patched into ClickFunnels bullshit. They're patched into Tony Robbins bullshit, Frank Kern's, and they're minions. They go to events, they go to conferences. I'm telling you right now, they're all scammers. It's a scam world now ever since the internet, ever since the dot-com implosion, things have taken off. I saw this actually in 2000 and 2001. First, I remember seeing it when actually affiliate marketing was taking off. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of scamming going on. And of course, for the longest time, I guess it still exists, but it was pretty big for a long time. And that's ClickBank. It's a site called ClickBank. I'm not real familiar with it, but I think because I looked into it many years ago, I was looking into it to see, okay, I've heard about it. It's for digital products. Maybe I'll go there and maybe I'll promote my my research for sale. And I saw it and I was like, holy shit, this is a scam portal. And it's basically, from what I recall, kind of a site for affiliates to like pump a bunch of garbage. It's just complete e-trash, complete e-scams on ClickBank. Complete dog shit. And I don't know, I just don't understand. It should be pretty obvious what they're all about. And like, who in their right mind can't see that? And if you see that, who in their right mind would even buy anything from the site? And I think it got so bad that I think the site, they had some type of a money back guarantee because there were so many scams, bullshit products. But it's gotten a lot more sophisticated since that time, right? It's a lot more sophisticated now.
What I would do on the sales page is I would just do the high integrity, get them with some heavy stats about, bring them down first, get them feeling a little bit miserable and say, I have the answer and I know because it worked for me. So I'm giving you my sales pitch right now, but Tony can borrow it. I give permission.
He forks over a few bucks.
Yep. Okay, he's earned it. Here's the way I do it. Hi, this is Tony Robbins. Many of you know me for all the great things I've done, accomplishments, blah, blah, blah. I got introduced to the internet marketing community. And I know what you might be thinking, well, it looks like a bunch of hucksters and scammers.
Yeah.
What I found was exactly the opposite. Many of them have no education, other than a high school education, oftentimes making $5 or $10 million a year with a minimal staff of just a few people who, like themselves, are not heavily educated necessarily, and I wanted to model them. Now, I've implemented a lot of these programs in my own business, and frankly, I've completely transformed and changed the way I'm going to be doing business. So I'd like to introduce you to the new money masters, blah, blah, blah.
Brilliant. Actually, that's what this is perfect. Yeah.
So many people right now are suffering, they're frustrated, and the biggest area they got is financial suffering. And that one can be alleviated.
Here's the reality. There's this environment grows in popularity. The critics are going to be coming out, so but there have been a couple other personalities that would be great to interview that frankly you don't want to touch just because there's still enough noise around them. There's also a poisonous specter out there who's creating some trouble for a few of the guys. His name is the Salty Droid, saltydroid.info. You can check it out. It sucks, but basically, and I don't want to give this guy more fuel because he's a scumbag, but he's an attorney who up till recently hasn't had, he's been operating under an assumed name, but he's definitely been creating some misinformation or just basically being a national inquirer out there, an exploitative force.
About this at all?
Not about this specifically, but about some of the personalities in the internet marketing community.
Okay.
His whole deal is, well, I'm going to prevent people from being taken advantage of and screwed. So managing this obviously is just one of those deals. So I think the important lesson here is I would certainly look at this as a publicity deal too, and you may want to have someone kind of create some responses in case this does hit the mainstream, especially once it...
Anyway, I'm not going to... Very interesting. And so now we're going to go back, and I wanted to talk about this. I didn't plan on talking about any of this stuff, to be honest with you. It just came to mind. But it's important, because we're talking about one of these guys, this Tom Bilyeu, and any of these guys, whether it's Patrick Bet-David, and I can guarantee you Patrick Bet-David is involved in this. He's involved in this lower level, fringy, sleazy internet marketing syndicate garbage. Now you have guys that, let's say Peter Schiff is probably involved to some degree, but I would say, he has a lot more exposure. He doesn't need to really get so much involved. However, he's involved. I mean, you take a look, he's going to be on Patrick Bet-David's channel. He's going to be on Brian Rose's channel. He's on Tom Bilyeu's channel, right? You name it, right? You name it. He's going to be on the channel. He's on Robert Kiyosaki's channel. I think Robert Kiyosaki was on his channel. They didn't get along too well. They kind of had a falling out or something. But because, when you get two guys that are trying to sell snake oil, one guy's selling a different brand of snake oil than the other guy, there's kind of a match between the egos and so on and so forth. The interesting thing would be to see when Peter Schiff teams up with Tony Robbins. And I have to believe, if that hasn't already happened, it's inevitable. Of course, Schiff has also been with Joe Rogan. And, Joe Rogan is kind of the centerpiece here. I need to do a little more looking into Rogan when I have a chance because there's so many people. That's kind of the starting point, the launch pad for many of these disinfo agents. COVID's a great example, right? Apparently, I didn't know this. This Malone guy got his start off of Joe Rogan. And of course, this Malone, you may know the guy, I forgot his first name. I've looked into him a little bit, the danger he poses is that about 80% of what he says is true, and then the 20% is just complete bullshit. So he knows the science. He's a scientist, and it's just bizarre how. So in other words, he knows enough of the science to convince a lot of lay people that he knows exactly what's going on. But the fact is that he does not. He states a lot of bullshit. And of course, he got his launch from Joe Rogan. Many other people as well, in many different genres of bullshit. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this now. We're going to continue with this Tom Bilyeu. I'm going to show you more of the people he's interviewed, and this is once a lot of these guys I don't know. Of course, Ray Dalio. This guy is a con man. I've talked about Dalio before, and of course, any of you out there, oh, he says Ray Dalio is con. Oh, who is he? Yeah, well, take a look at my track record, buddy. Ray Dalio can't touch me. Show me anybody out there who can match my track record of investment analysis and forecasting. Show me, okay? Show me. I show the results. I've got real, concrete results that anyone who's had access to my research can profit from, do quite well. Show me how Ray Dalio's done the same. You understand how Ray Dalio's got his money? Do you know the details? No, you don't know. Okay? So I do. You don't. Ray Dalio is clearly a con man, and he's a failure. He was shown the exit door from the firm that he created because his performance sucked. That's right. You don't hear that, do you? Well, that's true. That's a fact. Write it down. You can tell him I said so. What's he going to say? I'm speaking the truth. Let's go ahead and show you a few more. There's Peter Schiff again. Oh, what's worse is what's coming is worse than 2008. Peter, you're a con man. Stop it. Stop conning people. Stop swindling people with fear-mongering, broken clock bullshit, false statements. Just stop it. I thought you might have learned your lesson back in the early 90s. I don't know, 90, 91. Right, when you got sanctioned by the National Futures Association for marketing fraud, fraudulent marketing, deceptive marketing materials. I can't recall. You all can look it up. I've shown that before. But I don't think you've learned your lesson. I'm willing to bet 90 to 95% of the people on here, although I don't recognize, there's Ray Dalio again, are con artists, scam artists, bullshit artists. Okay? Because remember, folks, you're judged by the company you keep. Birds of a feather flock together. Here we go. Tony Robbins. There we go. And Raoul Paul, scam artist, liar. This guy, Raoul Paul, is such a disgusting liar and scammer that he even lied about his position when he worked in a Wall Street firm. He claimed that he was a hedge fund manager. He claimed that he predicted the financial crisis. He was a sales guy. He was on the sales force of some hedge fund. And apparently it didn't go too well. Why else do you think he's running a YouTube channel? That's the reality. Not to mention his complete fringe and bullshit, pumping cryptocurrencies, complete disaster. There are so many people out there. I wish they would contact us. Tell us about how much money you lost listening to Raoul Paul's cryptocurrency bullshit recommendations. So go through and, there it is again, Ray Dalio. Go through and by the way, folks, ask yourself the question: why would Ray Dalio? I mean, we know Peter Schiff. He wants to get as much publicity as he can so he can continue to fool low IQ, delusional people with his nonsense, right? So they'll buy his books. Maybe he can, lure some of them to invest in his terrible funds that have done miserable. I've shown this over the years. You can take a look. Complete disaster. But Ray Dalio, I mean, he was collecting money, a percentage of the management fees from his fund. He's got a lot of money. What's he doing? What are you doing, Ray? What are you doing giving interviews with life coach charlatans. What are you trying to achieve? There's something going on. Of course, Ray Dalio is connected to the hip with Tony Robbins. Something's going on, folks. Something's going on. Okay? Remember, birds of a feather. That's all you need to know. Birds of a feather flock together. You see one con man hanging out with another guy, that guy's a con man. Okay? Raoul Paul again. I mean, look at this guy. It is a little stupid little photoshopping. No, dude. Sorry, you can't change your appearance. You're not trustworthy. This guy is another consumer finance fraudster, bullshit artist. Another guy. This is one of the guys from ScamTube that was in the class action lawsuit for selling unregistered securities to the Ponzi scheme, the FTX Ponzi scheme, along with Tom Nash, along with Graham Stephan, along with Meet Kevin, and several others. You can look into this guy. He's a total fucking scam artist. Here we go. Graham Stephan, of course. Fucking scammer. And by the way, one of the Tony Robbins again. By the way, let me just mention, take a look. I can just tell you by the appearance. There's no doubt in my mind. You're looking at 95% of these people, and that's conservative, I'll be honest with you. My conservative guess, same tribe. Same tribe of ethno-religious people that comprise less than 0.1% of the population in the world that you can't, not only can you not criticize as a group or as an individual, you can't even say that they control like this or that. Which tells you who has control of everything, including your speech, right? Including ScamTube. Take a look at these people. 95%. This guy's a scammer. Hey, dude, you're a scammer. Here we go. Here we go. Michael Saylor, Bitcoin scam artist. Anybody that promotes cryptocurrencies is a scammer, including Raoul Paul. It's about time for our friend Hormozy. Oh, look. Everyone's favorite scammer, Ty Lopez. You see, folks? There you go. I mean, what more evidence do you want? The circle jerker scammers. Birds of a feather flock together. You're judged by the company you keep. There's Dean Gracioso, scam artist. Yeah. Who else do we have here? Where's Kathy Wood? Look, Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, seriously. Hey, Mark, are you that dumb? Like, do you know, like, already people don't like you. They hate you. They think you're a scammer, a criminal. And you're just showing it more and more by being on this channel. You're associating with the scammer. It's proof positive that you're a scammer. Now, Ray Dalio, I mean, hey, Ray, like, dude, you got a life? You got a lot of free time? What's going on? Yeah. And this guy, look, hate your job. So, by the way, yeah, beginner's guide to crypto. Okay, yeah. Get everybody involved, especially just before the collapse. Did you see that? This guy is a kind of a self-help life coach. Let's take a look here. I'm not going to, you can go through all his bullshit videos promoting all these scammers to help him. And by the way, all you guys, see, they don't care that they're helping him create content which he uses to lure an audience to sell his scams to, in addition to, of course, being a partner with scam artists who sell scam ads. He doesn't care. He's a scammer. None of these people care that they are helping this guy create content to sell his scams. Why? Because I'm willing to bet that they're either already doing that or they're already planning to do the same thing. Now take a look. And some of them, of course, are already obviously doing that. You can see by the... So take a look here. Oh, look, he's got his own university. His own university. What a fucking fraud. Attention. If you're going to call what you have for a university, remember that? Remember that's like, I thought you couldn't do that? I mean, that's a pretty egotistical claim to, I mean, what I offer, the intelligence that I offer, my research, my educational content, okay, I predicted the financial crisis. Don't forget that. In detail, better than anybody in the world, hands down. I could call what I do a university. Maybe I should. What have you done, Tom? You're a scammer. Let's take a look at Tom's university. Impact Theory University. Life coaching. I can help you. Let's see. Here we go. I mean, what is this nonsense? Optimize your time and energy. I mean, achieve your dream. What is this Tony Robbins bullshit? Dude, that's a scam, okay? You're selling hot air. That's a scam. You're manipulating people with your bullshit. Masterclass. I'm selling courses. You fucking scammer. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close this out now. It's approaching exactly 1 hour, and we're going to go into the Peter Schiff, Ralph Paul video with this Tom Bozo.
There are two fundamental reforms that we need is to get adequate capital and two, to get far higher levels of enforcement of fraud statutes. Existing ones, I'm not even talking about new ones. Things were being done which were certainly illegal and clearly criminal in certain cases, which, I mean, fraud is a fact. Fraud creates very considerable instability in competitive markets. If you cannot trust your counterparties, it won't work. And indeed, we saw that it didn't.
So things went very well, and then the economy collapses. And so all of a sudden people are saying, well, it was Alan Greenspan's fault because he should have anticipated this. Did you think that was fair?
Nobody forecast the 2008 crisis. One of the things I put in the second book I wrote was how the IMF missed it, the Federal Reserve missed it. You go down a whole series of the major forecasting.
Well, everybody got it wrong, let's say.
You can't have a crisis of that nature that is not a surprise. Nobody forecast the 2008 crisis. One of the things I put in the second book I wrote was how the IMF missed it, the Federal Reserve missed it. You go down a whole series of the major forecasting.
Well, everybody got it wrong, let's say.
You can't have a crisis of that nature that is not a surprise. Nobody forecast the 2008 crisis. Nobody forecast the 2008 crisis. Nobody forecast the 2008 crisis. There are two fundamental reforms that we need is to get adequate capital and two, to get far higher levels of enforcement of fraud statutes. existing ones. I'm not even talking about new ones. Things were being done which were certainly illegal and clearly criminal in certain cases, which, I mean, fraud is a fact. Fraud creates very considerable instability in competitive markets. If you cannot trust your counterparties, it won't work. And indeed, we saw that it didn't. Certainly illegal and clearly criminal in certain cases, which, I mean, fraud is a fact. Fraud creates very considerable instability in competitive markets. If you cannot trust your counterparties, it won't work. And indeed, we saw that it didn't. Certainly illegal and clearly criminal in certain cases, which, I mean, fraud is a fact. Fraud creates very considerable instability in competitive markets. If you cannot trust your counterparties, it won't work. And indeed, we saw that it didn't. There are two fundamental reforms that we need is to get adequate capital and two, to get far higher levels of enforcement of fraud statutes. Existing ones, I'm not even talking about new ones. Things were being done which were certainly illegal and clearly criminal in certain cases, which, I mean, fraud is a fact. Fraud creates very considerable instability in competitive markets. If you cannot trust your counterparties, it won't work. And indeed, we saw that it didn't. Nobody forecast the 2008 crisis. Things were being done which were certainly illegal and clearly criminal in certain cases, which nobody forecast the 2008 crisis. 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 Nobody forecast the 2008 crisis.
In terms of getting back as an investor, if it's coming down to here, almost irrespective of what's going on, I have to believe, if I have to make a call in advance, and of course I can change depending upon what happens, but I have to believe this is where you want to start doing that 18, 17, around there. Their earnings report is a complete game changer, at least for quite a while. Bottom line, NVIDIA now is going to enter the realm of Tesla, Apple, and all these other big, I mean, listen, NVIDIA can come down to 150. come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works. I mean, listen, Nvidia can come down to 150, come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works.